which is sadly more layoff news. Take-Two is making layoffs weeks after dropping $460 million on Gearbox Interactive. And just as a disclaimer, obviously I used to work at Volition, who was under Gearbox at the time that Volition was closed, so just whatever I say here, I guess, just as a disclaimer, my opinion might be biased. And I know people at studios that are under Take-Two, so take that as you will. Grand Theft Auto maker Take-Two Interactive is reducing its headcount by 5% as part of a cost reduction program that was announced earlier this year. The U.S. publisher, which just spent $460 million to acquire Gearbox Interactive from Embracer, said it wants to identify efficiencies across its business and enhance the company's margin profile while still investing for growth. As part of these efforts, the company is rationalizing its pipeline and eliminating several projects in development and streamlining its organizational structure, which will eliminate headcount and reduce future hiring needs. And this was in the SEC filing. I've never actually looked at an SEC filing. Does it actually say how many? I don't think so. Oh, it's just signatures. It just says 5%. The company estimates that it will incur approximately $160 million to $200 million in total charges in connection with the plan. The company expects $40 million to $60 million of the total charges to result in future cash expenditures. Breaking down those figures, Take-Two said it would spend between $120 million to $140 million on project cancellations, an additional $25 million to $35 million on employee severance and employee-related costs, and between $15 million to $25 million on office space reductions. Take-Two expects its cost reduction plan to be largely complete by December 31st, 2024. It could impact over 400 workers. When announcing its cost restructuring program earlier this year, Take-Two indicated it would largely focus on shrinking marketing expenditures. Speaking to IGN back in February, Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick said the company was still finessing the program, but emphasized that it wasn't currently planning on making layoffs. We haven't put any meat on the bones of that yet, he said at the time. I would just note that our biggest line item of expense is actually marketing. We do think we can optimize that. We also have third-party expenses, software, other vendors, supply services, and we always find opportunity there. The hardest thing to do is lay off colleagues, and we have no current plans. So that was back in December? No, that was earlier this year. Despite indicating layoffs were off the table at that point, there had already been reports of job cuts at Visual Concepts Austin, which is owned by Take-Two through its 2K Games subsidiary. In its latest fiscal report, Take-Two revealed it currently employs 8,894 people across its various internal studios and subsidiaries. Assuming that figure is still largely accurate, a 5% workforce reduction would result in over 400 layoffs across the company. So we don't really have a fully disclosed number. This is just kind of taking the math into account, and it would be roughly 400, but that's not confirmed by the company themselves. Take-Two recently updated its guidance for fiscal 2024 and currently expects to deliver annual net bookings of between $5.25 billion to $5.3 billion. It's also preparing for the long-awaited launch of Grand Theft Auto 6 in 2025 and continues to tout the success of Grand Theft Auto 5, which recently topped 195 million lifetime sales. Layoffs suck. Yeah, but though Rockstar, I don't know. Rockstar is one of Take-Two's bigger companies. I don't know. Obviously, we don't actually know where the layoffs are going to occur. It's just 5% company-wide. But it's kind of interesting that Grand Theft Auto 5, like, we thought Epic was going to be fine. Like, they have Fortnite and Unreal Engine and still had massive layoffs. And Take-Two Interactive, well, Rockstar specifically, but Take-Two Interactive has fucking Grand Theft Auto 5, one of the Grand Theft Auto 5 and Grand Theft Auto Online, two of the biggest grossing IP or grossing entertainment product ever, I believe. Hold on. Top grossing piece of media. No, not IPs. Highest grossing media entertainment product. Yeah, Grand Theft Auto 5. At first it showed Pokemon, but that's media franchises. I wanted specifically the single highest grossing product, which is Grand Theft Auto 5. Right? Was released a decade ago. Holds 7 Guinness World Record titles, including the highest revenue generated by an entertainment product in 24 hours. But yeah, Pokemon is still like one of the top grossing media franchises of all time. I don't even think Grand Theft Auto is not even on that list, but still. Highest grossing media product of all time, or excuse me, highest grossing entertainment product of all time. And yet, oh, I forgot I had that set up. The Ko-fi bot. I'm messing with Ko-fi. There's some stuff that I want to mess around with it. You guys can ignore that for right now. I'll still take donations there, but the best way to support me at this moment is anything in here. I think Ko-fi is still technically on there, but those are all the best places to support me. And if you're watching this on YouTube later, all the ways that you can support me are down in the subscription down in the description. But anyway, plus Grand Theft Auto 6 is coming, and then who knows what they're gonna do next. Like, because they still have, I mean, they have Bully as an IP. They still have Red Dead as an IP. What else do they have? And that's just Rockstar themselves. Rockstar has more stuff than that. Didn't they do Max Payne? No, they didn't. Did they? Hold on. Rockstar IPs. Oh, I forgot they have LA Noire. Oh yeah, they had Manhunt. Midnight Club. They've got a handful of IPs that haven't been used in a little while. But obviously GTA and Red Dead are two of the biggest ones. They could do another Manhunt. I don't know. Either way. Either way, it's just kind of baffling that even Take-Two will cut jobs when they own one of the biggest, literally the highest grossing entertainment product of all time. But like I said, this is Take-Two specifically, not or this is Take-Two as the broader company, not Rockstar. Who knows how many people would be cut at Rockstar? They don't disclose that, so at least not in the SEC filing. Maybe we'll know more, because I'm sure people will post on LinkedIn, and then I don't know. Because no one's actually said anything yet. At least not in here. Did I mark that as red? I did. Okay. Let's actually look at Take-Two laying off 5% of staff. In addition to approximately 580 jobs cut, Publisher's latest cost reduction program also involves canceling projects, streamlining organizational structure. Hold on a second. That's a little bit different than what they said. $8,894 people across its various internal studios and subsidiaries. But GI Biz has a different number. 11,580 in its latest annual report. That's interesting. We've got some conflicting numbers here. Take-Two Interactive is embarking on another cost-cutting program, and this one will see the company lay off about 5% of its employees by the end of the year. As part of these efforts, the company, the SEC filing, in its latest annual report, Take-Two reported having 11,580 full-time employees, which would put the layoffs at approximately 580. Huh. Expects the cost reduction program to cost up to $200 million, with as much as $140 million in charges coming from the canceled projects, canceled games. This is the third such program Take-Two has announced since the beginning of February 2023. The original cost reduction plan sought to eliminate $50 million in annual spending. Don't expect any broad-based reduction in force. The second cost reduction was announced a little over 2 months ago, and when asked about layoffs, Zelnick would only say the second plan was more robust than the first one. Take-Two has posted net losses for 7 straight quarters. Its last quarter reporting a net profit was the 3 months ended June 30th, 2022, the quarter before the publisher closed on its acquisition of Zynga. Still sucks. So we've got some conflicting numbers between those two stories, so I don't know what to believe there. I mean, it's obviously still going to be 5%, but maybe it's not a massive error. It's just, what does that 5% actually equate to? Is it based on that 11,000? Or whatever Game Developer Mag said? I don't know. It's still 5%. It's still a few hundred at least being laid off, and it still sucks. So I guess it really doesn't matter. I came across this, but I did not read it yet. 70% of devs unsure of live service games sustainability. I did want to read it though, because live service is very shaky, as we've seen. This is by, I really need to call out the authors too. This is by Justin Carter, the contributing editor over at Game Developer Magazine. A new survey from the Game Developer Collective shows concerns over video games monetization methods, particularly as it pertains to live service games. Excuse me. 600 developers were interviewed between February and March 2024. The live service label, according to a respective 67% and 53% of devs, are defined by their frequent updates and in-app purchases. 39% of participants had mild worries over the current live service business models. 31% were very concerned, while a combined 29% either had no fears or were unsure. Oh, can I not expand that? That's the survey. That's the actual survey. Sorry, I was looking at that. A February survey from Griffin Gaming Partners revealed that most developers were making live service games. Interestingly, only 35% of the 600 told the collective they considered their most recent release a live service game. And of those not already using a live service model, 10% think their studio will shift in that direction. When it comes to live service games, developers are currently split on their industry impact. 44% have a mixed view on them, while 45% hold them in a negative light. The chief worry, according to this survey, lies in sustainability. 63% of developers worry about players losing interest. 62% are afraid of other games poaching their players. And 57% admitted the difficulty in long-term engagement. Both very valid concerns. Excuse me. We've seen those fears come true through 2023 as numerous ongoing games shut down when taking their studio with them, and those that remain, like Destiny 2, are currently in a precarious position. Paid DLC on the rise. Amid the live service unease, there appears to be a rising interest in the old model of paid DLC. 30% of participants said they were exploring that for their next game, up 9% from their most recent releases. Similarly, 76% said they were eyeing an upfront payment, aka digital release, for their next game. 22% were pointing toward a physical release compared to 27% of current launches. In general, developers appear split on what the future of monetization for games looks like. There is a 1 to 4% difference in future projects having battle passes, being included in subscription services, and so on. Game Developer Collective is a unique panel of over 600 fully verified game developers created in collaboration by Omdia, Game Developer, and GEC. Yeah, I don't think live service is reliably sustainable. It's just such a huge gamble to take. There's two sort of niche audiences when it comes to successful live service games. And if you're anywhere in the middle, if you're anywhere outside of either one of them, the likelihood that your game is going to fail in the long run is significantly higher than catering specifically to one of those two audiences. I'm blanking on what those audiences were. There's like a specific article that talked about it, and they kind of gave the spectrum. Hold on. There's like... Is it Knockout City? There's like a specific... Here it is. Where did Knockout City go wrong? This was over a year ago. And they explained it very well. I'm trying to see... where they said it. Hold on, hold on. Players don't. Hold on, let me just show you guys the article that I'm looking at right now. Both have room. I swear this was where they talked about it. Emphasizes it. We were really thrilled with the initial user base as well as the audience reception, he says, but by the time we had launched mid-price, premium was pretty uncommon for multiplayer-only titles. Most of those had converted. Most of those had already converted to free-to-play titles, so the competitive environment changed for pricing. It sold fairly well. The business model changed, but the developer was still determined to avoid some of the more divisive strategies used to survive in the free-to-play space. When we realized the free-to-play released the free-to-play version, we had a couple different challenges. Some of it was macro, and the macro phenomenon he refers to first became apparent when around September last year. That would have been 2022. While the free-to-play Knockout City received a good inflow of users after the transition, the developer experienced a dramatic drop-off in both retention and monetization around the end of August. This, Bella notes, did not match with the seasonal variations his team expected. For example, the return to school reducing the amount of time and money spent by young players. But when Velen investigated further and spoke to other companies in similar positions, it realized that there was a much bigger factor. We found that inflation was hitting really hard around the world, especially in your metrics for retention need to be much higher to break even, because both that and monetization were moving in a negative direction. The team wanted to gain a few more months of experience with free-to-play and live service games, and also do right by the community that had already been investing in the game. Committing through to the end of the 9th season of content would give Velen a full 2 years of experience with Knockout City and 1 year with the free-to-play model. Maybe this wasn't the article. Or maybe it was this. A cosmetics-based free-to-play game, while it's really appealing to us as gamers, requires massive scale to be economically successful. It's sort of an all-or-nothing thing, which is a dull view of the world in a sense. Because it's like, if you want to do something creatively new, it can't be the right It can't be the right setup in that business model unless you can imagine it being enormous. So what do you do in that situation? Are there different ways of approaching a premium title with a service on the top of that? Are there different types of user experiences that you can have where you can offer gameplay items but not pay to win? Cosmetics-led games that we know of today and are generally successful, many of them do not have loot boxes. Most mobile titles on a global basis outside of Western markets also have loot boxes. Oh, many of them do have loot boxes. It's something that we're not very fond of, and it'll present a lot of challenges in an emerging sense from a regulatory standpoint as well. But you can't have your cake and eat it too. We have to figure out the right economic balance, yada, yada, yada. There's also arguably a limit to how many popular live service games the market can sustain, especially for titles aiming at a large audience. An ad's going to play in about 5 minutes, by the way. Players can only have so much time, and therefore likely to commit to one or perhaps a handful of titles, which may also be dictated by which games their friends are playing. Here it is. In the live service context. Hold on, what are ARPUs again? ARPUs. In the live service context, when you have Fortnite on one side where the ARPUs are actually quite low relative to other titles, but they just have an enormous player base. And then you have games like Warframe or RuneCraft that are considerably smaller but with a very loyal user base because they serve their interests extremely well and have higher ARPUs. Both have room, but the games in the middle really belong to neither and can't survive. That is the comparison that I was looking for. It only took me, 20 minutes to find this? Is you either where does he say it? And what I'm saying is nothing really novel. This is like a classic Michael Porter competitive strategy from 1980, that kind of thing. You can have a focused strategy as a company serving a niche, or you can have a differentiated strategy but for everybody. If you're anywhere in the middle with a context to a live service game, it will probably fail. This can be done within a single title. Ball points to FIFA as a prime example. The premium game appeals to the broad market and, as he puts it, really bankrolls the basic game development to help sustain the franchise. But then FIFA Ultimate Team serves a smaller audience and serves it well, monetizing highly as a result. And I don't remember exactly what happened with Knockout City. I think it was because they were kind of in the middle. But still. That's why I don't have a lot of confidence in live service games, because I don't think any companies that are just trying to buy into that trend aren't doing either one, where they have this massive differentiated game like Fortnite, or don't have the funds to back something like that, or they're just chasing trends, so they don't have the focus or the drive to focus on that niche audience, because they want the activity of the niche audience with the appeal of the broader audience, and you can't have both. That's why he was saying you can't have your cake and eat it too, you know? And that's what happened with Suicide Squad, on top of WB just having an executive team that just is immensely what's the word? Incongruent? That's not the right word. Incongruous? Incompetent. That's the word I was looking for. On top of forcing a company that is known for, single player action games to make a live service game, something that collectively they didn't have the experience to make. Which was very stupid of WB to make that what they were gonna do. They should have made Suicide Squad. They should have been allowed to make Suicide Squad just a single player action game and really flex their skills with that. But no, WB wanted to do a live service game, and now who knows if Rocksteady's even gonna get a second chance. Which is entirely on WB, which really sucks. Anyway, oh yeah, we just read that. Let's read a little bit of news from yesterday. I think I read this. I saw this on Twitter initially. Well, not this specific article, actually. But it was based on this. Quali is the latest company to implement layoffs as the mobile publisher looks to restructure its business in order to better capitalize on significant growth opportunities. And of course, this is by James Batchelor over at gamesindustry.biz. Company told mobilegamer.biz it had been letting staff go over the last few months, although it did not confirm the number of people affected. Both gamesindustry.biz and mobilegamer.biz have heard from sources that around 40 people were affected, accounting for up to 10% of the firm's workforce. It is believed most layoffs have impacted QA and recruitment. What a shocker. Although some developers and artists have also been let go, the company's headquarters in Leamington Spa has reportedly been the most affected, with additional layoffs in the company's Bangalore, India branch. However, Quali said fewer than 40 people had been laid off and emphasized that it plans to grow its headcount from 346 last year to between 410 and 420. We are reshaping our business and our team to best capture the significant growth opportunities that currently exist in the sector, including hiring for 20 new roles. Quali spokesperson told mobilegamer.biz. Quali has the global scale management expertise and security of funding combined with a differentiated strategy to take advantage of organic and acquisitive growth opportunities. Acquisitive growth opportunities. Does that mean acquisitions? Having or marked by an eager and having an often selfish desire, especially for material possessions. Funny how they used acquisitive there, but still. Like, really? So you're laying off people to hire 20 more people, which isn't very cost effective. Obviously, we don't know which ones are being laid off and which ones are being hired. But just the phrasing of all of this, like getting rid of 40 people or whatever, or however many it was, because that 40 wasn't accurate according to Quali. But how do you get rid of roles only to hire other roles? I don't know. Unless they desperately needed those 20 other people. And of course, it impacts QA and recruitment, so you're getting rid of QA, and you're getting rid of recruitment. Which means that's going to be less people to go through all of the, less people to sift through all the applications that you're going to get for those 20 new roles. Which is going to take longer and be more expensive to hire for them. I don't really have anything else to say on that. It's just more, it's more layoffs, I guess. There's a lot more stories here. Oh, this was interesting. This was yesterday. This was actually a story from yesterday. My girlfriend and I have been watching the Fallout TV show. And I just think it's kind of funny and really interesting that I mean, Fallout Shelter's daily. Oh, this is just Fallout Shelter. What about the rest of the Fallout stuff? Did I not save a story like that to my reading list? Maybe not. Because this is that mobile game, right? Sensor Tower data also shows that downloads rose more than doubled around launch of Amazon Prime show. With the Fallout TV series grabbing headlines and attention across the industry, data from mobile analysis firm Sensor Tower shows the impact it is having on the video games. Collated by Layer Licensing and shared with GamesIndustry.biz, the data shows that daily revenue for mobile spin-off Fallout Shelter rose from just over $20,000 on April 10th, 2024, the day that the show debuted, to $80,000 by April 13th. And that's the daily revenue. So they were making about $80,000 a day from that. Similarly, the number of downloads per day rose from around 20,000 to over 60,000 within 3 days. In fact, daily downloads were up 20% within 24 hours of the show's debut. Revenue by Unified Apps. Yeah, that is crazy. I'm curious what did it look like before the show? Solid line represents revenues, while the dotted line represents downloads. We're also told Fallout Shelter rose to number 7 in the US iOS top free games charts. The highest position the game has held since June 2018, when Shelter got a boost of awareness after the announcement it would be coming to PS4 and Switch. Meanwhile, our sister site Eurogamer reported that Fallout 4, Fallout 76, and Fallout New Vegas all saw dramatic rises in the number of concurrent players on Steam. The Fallout series has launched with overwhelmingly positive reviews and a very happy fan base, Layer founder and CEO Ratchet Mahdi told GamesIndustry.biz. While it's still early days, we're already seeing an impact on how the games themselves have been received. Despite the Fallout Shelter being nearly a decade old, this sharp uptick shows the impact of mobile when an IP expands into new mediums like film and TV. Unsurprisingly, the two Fallout games with live service elements, 76 and Shelter, have shown the most traction due to their tie-in activities of new outfits and characters connected to the show. It's important to remember that the show is still relatively new, and we will only see the full impact of this adaptation in the weeks ahead. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Okay, we spent a lot of time trying to search for that one story. But let's maybe read one or two more. This one's a quick one. War Robots hits $900 million in revenue. I don't really know what it is. This is going to take us to a tweet. Nope. Games Press. Alright, that's good for them, I guess. I think we went over this a little bit a couple days ago. This might have been in Monday's video. I'm kind of blanking because it was on Monday. I don't remember if we actually read this or not. Roblox has announced that it has moved from its application-only process for marketplace sellers. Now users must adhere to 4 requirements to be eligible for selling content. Among them are creators who must be ID verified and subscribe to the platform subscription service of $9.99 or $19.99 monthly. Marketplace sellers must also follow Roblox's community standards and marketplace policies. These new eligibility requirements will enable more creators to sell items in Marketplace, giving them a new way to earn and users more choice in the items they can purchase, while also allowing Roblox to effectively enforce its Marketplace policies and prevent violators from circumventing moderation. Okay, I think we did read that. The resource allows users to detect and take action against IP infringement. Nearly a month after Roblox fully rolled out its rights manager tool. Cool. All right. I think that's good on news for today. We're going to take a short break here, a very brief break, just for a couple minutes so that we can switch stuff over, and then we're going to play some Have a Nice Death.